Hi, welcome to Spoken Word London's 3rd anniversary. I'm
Hannah.
Exactly.
Hi, Hannah.
It's going to turn into that like Brit Awards thing where it's Sam Fox and the guy from Fleetwood Mac. We're here tonight. I'm just going to introduce like the theme of tonight, and then Hannah's going to talk about what the night's about, etc. So it's our 3rd anniversary. We've been going for 3 years today, It's amazing to see you all here, and each year for our anniversary we have a theme of anti-hate. Because of, I guess, the obviousness of the words, like, and on the news all the time, like when we seem to be in like a society that's so rooted by division, there always seems to be hate crime happening around us. We want to start something at a grassroots level of change, I guess, to stand up and speak out. Like, we're here to connect with each other, we're here to speak, but we're also here to listen, and by that, you know, create a shared sense of community and a shared sense, but don't sound too wanky and pretentious, a shared sense of humanity, I guess, you know, and like, so we want to stand up against homophobia, we want to stand up against racism, we want to stand up against disableism, we want to stand up against misogyny, we want to stand up against all kinds of forms of ignorance and prejudice, and come together and just say that we can be here and we can love each other and respect each other, and be together in unity. And that's what our theme is about tonight, so thank you all for coming.
Everyone gets 5 minutes, no one gets longer than that. We've got 4 rounds, we've got 6 amazing featured performers this evening. And just so everyone knows, when you're speaking, when you hear the little bell, that means that you've got 45 seconds left. That means that you've hit 4:45, so you've got 15 seconds to wrap up what you're saying before you become forever subsumed by pop music. And we have got Don't Cry For Me, Argentina on there. Yeah! You might have heard that already. That's Pat's choice. Okay, we're just ask that you give full attention to people that are speaking, try and turn off your phones, at least put them on silent. And Pat's going to kick off the first round by introducing our first featured act.
So our first featured speaker tonight, speaking out against hate, is one of our amazing regulars. Please give it up for Alexander Woodward.
Hello. My name's Alexander Woodward, and I bawl so hard motherfuckers try to find me. Well, I've got to say something when I get on stage. Spoken Word London, when I first started performing my poetry 2 years ago in October, was the first gig I came to, and it was great. I was terrified, but it's the most welcoming environment I've ever been in, and so I'm nursing a stiffy about how happy I am. There's no need to visualise that image, unless you want to, in which case talk to me afterwards. Right, okay. The theme is anti-hate, and were it not for the mental illness, I win privilege bingo. So the only real hate I know is self-hate, so I'm going to be speaking about that. I've got 2 poems for you, and the first one is called Speak Deeply. My own mind was that I've told lies at the memorial of a 22-year-old suicide. Lucky for me, I talk in my sleep, and my voice is quite deep, so the bass in my tone bounced my words off the moon. In that echo, I heard my own voice forgiving me with the knowledge that what I had said made her mourning mother laugh and grin. That said, I never want to have to do that again. So join me. Lift your voices with mine, my friends. When you speak, try to speak deeply. Whenever you can, speak openly, speak freely. Speak so deeply you can heal the wounds caused by silence. It's not an exact science, but it is a good rule of thumb to always try to speak deeply, like you're mining for gold with your tongue. Speak so deeply that you risk breaking the amps, that you shatter the glass in the lamps which light up the pane, that you rattle the chains and the clamps which keep people in place, which stop them from saying, please, help me, while looking into another's face. Speak so deeply that you set off echoes in someone else's head, and in the place of, I hate myself, they hear the words, you matter, instead. If those echoes ever scatter, turn your larynx into a jackhammer. Use your seismic voice to tear down mountains. Reveal the sun. Make them see that even in darkness, they are loved. Let us use our lungs to create a gale so that when the rest of the world has failed, we can catch people in midair and land them back on the right side of the safety rail, away from the precipice. The next time we stare into the next time we stare into the abyss, I want to save people from their own pain and helplessness. Let them be too distracted by this, the sound of our deep-voiced choir. Let them be pleasantly surprised when our match blows up, our voice. I'm very sorry, I have a speech impediment. Let us be very surprised when our song blows out the match struck to ignite the funeral pyre and leaves in its wake a more glorious light. So stand guard with me throughout the night. Be ready to fight against depressive demon flight. Roar this life-affirming battle cry, defiant against those parts of ourselves which whisper we might lose this war. Speak deeply, boom your bass voice bellow. Shout at that spectre wielding the scythe and wearing the black habit. This is my life, and you can't have it. My name's in the description, so I've got a bit of leeway, but let's not take the piss with my time, eh? Speak Deeply is, it's a good poem. First one I performed here, in fact. But to me, it's got quite a lot of survivor's guilt attached to it. And when I had to be talked down from doing something very silly to myself, I'm very aware that someone in a slightly tatty blazer and a silly beard shouting at me would not have helped. Well done. So I wrote a poem which I think of as sort of the second movement of Speak Deeply, to try and do for myself what Speak Deeply seems to do for other people. This is a poem that ends on a repeated phrase which I always think sounds better with multiple voices. So when we get to that bit, please join in. This is called Music Box. You have all endured so much to get this far. Some of you have soared momentarily on waxy wings, whooping in exhilaration with the joy of the laughing winds who carry your happiness back for kings to hear. Zeus is glad that you enjoyed his skies. Some of you have crossed the Styx, descended past pale shades which looked so much like childhood friends, and stared Hades full in the eye before your time. All of you have been in conflicts, heard the brassy trumpet's raucous voice shouting fire into your blood, and stared across the lines at another soldier who has momentarily forgotten that they have no real conflict with you. I am glad that you survived the war. I am sorry that you were wounded. That which does not kill us only makes us strain against the agony, stiff and vulnerable to further wounds. Remember that you are not alone. You are standing in a phalanx. All you have to do is lift your shield a scant few inches and protect the soldier to your left. Likewise, there is a soldier to your right whose titan-like strength is used to lift a shield which protects you in turn. It is true there have been heroes, great solo fighters and fantastic leaders of men who were loved by the gods and sung of by divine poets. Heroes who wrought great deeds and all full of glory died alone, with their blood wetting some foreign field. You should rejoice in the fact that you are not Achilles. Likewise, please remember that I am not Hephaestus. I cannot forge for you a suit of adamantine armour to render you invulnerable to the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. All I have managed to do is to carve for you a tiny music box and place within it a shard of my breath. When next you feel like you might be overwhelmed, open it. You will hear my untrained, inglorious voice singing for you a simple reminder. Hey, you're okay, you'll be fine, just breathe. 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 You'll be fine.
Thank you so much to Alexander Woodward for kicking off the Spoken Word London 3rd Anniversary Anti-Hate tonight. Next up, we're going to go to our open mic proper, so please welcome a guy who used to be regular a couple of years ago, and we're really honoured to have him back. He moved away to Glasgow and he's back again tonight. Please give it up for Ibrahim.
This poem is actually inspired by Maya Angelou. There's a poem of her called Smile that she actually wrote, and it's incorporated with the Black Matter Light movement, so I hope you guys enjoy it. In the beginning, we smile to survive, to keep our generation alive. Children, grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, faces we'll never see. We sing and hum happy tunes to take our mind far away from this place, a place of endless work, endless beating and rape. We laugh, wear our masks of grins and lies to keep hope alive, to unburden our innocent child, feed them dreams and shield their mind. we smile to live. Find happiness in song, free our spirit from cotton field to a place far away where we soak in the sun, reflects its light. Years gone by and our smile have started to fade. Our marks repaired too many times, cracks beyond repair have started to appear. Fear, sorrow, tooth beneath our marks, hard for the world to see. Our voices soar from crying and wailing over our dead bodies. We sing now only to mourn our lost. No gleeful tunes, just soul for soul is all we have left. We huddle together, cry hard to our fellow human beings to stand with us, walk with us. Many ignore our cries, still choose to see our marks of grins and lies. Dance to our soulful song, our freedom a high price for them to pray. In the beginning, we smile to survive, to keep generation alive, children, grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren. But bullets leave holes in their bodies, hands choke their throats, killing our smile one by one. Black lives matter, our smile matter, so we still smile.
Wow, thank you very much. Ibrahim, did you mind that poem being filmed?
Oh, not so.
Not so good, because it was. So yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is that we're streaming the night tonight and we're getting it on film, so we'll have it to share with the Spoken Word on the page. But if you are speaking and you don't want to be filmed for whatever reason, then just say so. So either Hannah or me during the break, or we just get up here and say please stop filming, and we won't film. Next up on round one, please welcome our another regular Spoken Word London. He left us. He goes to go to university at Leeds. He's back again tonight. It's Nash.
Hi. Hello. It's on my phone, not on paper today. So I did a bit of this last time. That's fucking bright, face. Really? Okay. It's called My Black Gay Skin. I did half of it last time and then added a bit to it, and then so anyway. Colour. Colour man has become a buzzword again, and I hate this term, a man of colour, I am sick of being stuck between gay racism and black homophobia. It's tiring, this tug of war between the colour of my skin among the homosexual community and sexuality among my ethnic community. I have been shackled in these chains of shame for eternity, and if the word is the truth, then let this spoken word set me free. Let every syllable in this poetry express the pain of each stone thrown at my glass conservatory. I am shattered. I'm tired of defending myself against hatred and bigotry. I want to be left alone to love freely, the way I have loved each brother and sister unconditionally. I want affectionate contact in the streets without fear of sparking World War III. And please forgive me, but what has my relationship with God and his creative imagery got to do with you? How is your slate so clean that you have the audacity to cast me as the depths of depravity? I worked with what I was given the best way I knew how. But you hold and compress me down like I'm blue tack. Your notice board stationary, portraying me as the poster board for the failings of humanity. I am the beauty of a butterfly floating with the pain of bees stinging me, and age has taught me that my heart cannot stop fighting valiantly. I was born with my hands up screaming, I come in peace, and this motherfucker had the cheek to throw positive discrimination policy at me. I was the reason the system was fuckeries. The system means we're all born free with the same opportunities. You're confused, my friend. I think it's best you take a seat. You see, your opinion is like a reflection in a train window. Like Storm Queen, I'm looking right through. But I don't want to be the angry black man spurting verbal heat. If you don't like it, then go back to your own country. You're too fucking fast, you don't understand. Take it easy. Portrayed as a wild dog that needs verbal chastity when I speak about the fragility of privilege. I've been led to believe that I am a dark, evil beast, while my pale counterpart can shoot me unarmed, yet he is the purest of souls, suffering from a momentary lapse in mental capacity. Too many have come for my skin tone through the media and on the telly, so hear me when I say I'm educated in your fuckery. So please, believe, the more you eat and feast on dark berries, the more likely you are to stain a white tea. You see, this pain hits me in the gut. I don't see colour till you bring it up like a Starbucks coffee with whipped cream on top. He said it isn't about the colour of your skin, but this is a white country, as he sidestepped me. I swear, you say this stuff because you enjoy seeing me seethe. You want to see the tension as I bite my tongue between my gritted teeth. You want to see the anguish and grief as I remember I am different. That I've only been bequeathed internal racism and homophobia. I feel rage that heats the situation like a pair of GHDs. Why do you have your hair like Declan with the good hair? Come on, man. That's not fair. You're a black man, why do you want to be Caucasian? Conversations like this hurt like a slush puppy to the brain. How can I be hated so much by my own kind? What did I do to deserve this? You know, the worst thing hate ever did to me was make me hate me. But I guess that's why I feel detachment, a lack of concern, the sister of apathy, or is this fear? Is this sickness and the lethargy really caused by the pigment or the fact that I sleep with men? But they'll never know the truth about why I rave so much. Like Esther Phillips, don't put a headstone on my grave. I'm done being your label slave. I just want you to seal up my cave and watch me rise in 3 days. I no longer complain about opinions invalid. It's like oxygen, it decays. I just discard them like a tomato in a Tesco simple salad.
Wow, thank you very much, Nash. Next up in round one, please welcome Dan Rose to the mic.
Hello. My piece is a bit long, so I'm just going to get on with it, alright? I've seen another badge in a blue suit shoot, and my brain's trying to compute what the fuck is going on. Long ago, I was told that killing was wrong, and that we shouldn't try to string along the idea there could be any justification for this kind of killing so blatant to be found. But the public execution of many without any sign of retribution make it feel like killing is allowed. And it is hard to be compassionate in our world. Knowing that our trusted boys in blue have a disdain for people who play at the game of life again and again and still lose. I couldn't stand by while cruiser tyres skid on Skid Row and leave behind more than just rubber. They leave behind the blubber of many and the blood of just one. They leave the DNA of a man who was attacked by 4 strangers, beaten, then tasered. He reached out for protection and was shot in detention. And this man will die in vain, because who cares if I can't breathe? The police will forever control our streets with a carte blanche handed down from a hierarchy to create state-sanctioned disharmony within our society. I am angry, and as you can see, I am not black. Because it's not always a racial attack. If you live on the streets, you've got blue and red lights on your back, and I've heard them say that it's okay because homeless people lack any class, or any will to get up off their arse and right what went wrong. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, mate, but all of their factory jobs are now gone. And they went on the run looking for some sun to shine down on them, but it's 6 AM when it does, and they need their tent packed, and they bless themselves now for what they do lack. Because you can't fit dignity inside a rucksack, no! That would be a luxury. And dying anywhere but the gutter just isn't an option, see, whether it's malnourished organs that fail or the police coming down like a hammer on a nail. If you sleep with concrete pillows, your deathbed will likely be the irrigation system of a rat-ridden city. I'm shocked as I watch a 12-year-old, Tamir Rice, be gunned down in the street for playing cops and robbers alone, only reliving what he has been shown on the news. Nothing seems right to me when there is no consequence for death in a so-called democracy. Providing you got that badge and a blue suit, that license to kill with no sense, to me it's clearly fucking nonsense. But what will I change when I can't breathe? As the death of another black stranger has taken my breath and we're left with another inquiry. But there will be no end to see. No chance for apologies, because there wasn't one last time. There was just Darren Wilson saying that Michael Brown had demon eyes and then resigning weeks later. He couldn't work with those lies. But perhaps he spied his own reflection in Mr. Brown's eye whites, and this moment of introspection manifested in him some demonic possession, and yeah, that lie was right. I am truly saddened when any killing has happened, but when your newsfeed is stuck on repeat, the hatred seeps and causes me to seethe. And these things that I have seen now can't be behind me. They are part of me. The police are a reason that I would own a gun in LA or MO or NY or any other backward racist state that has shown a disregard for its constituency by a failure in consistency with regards to protection. Bullets flying in all directions can be seen, and I pray they don't hit anyone close to me. It's only been a few weeks since I shuffled burnt CDs and I watched the souls leave 2 other compliant black men. And I, like any other, hope that these latest murders will prove that black lives do matter and that the blood splatter from Philando Castile and Alton Sterling will put cops in cuffs and help communities heal. But what do I know? I'm just a middle-class white kid from an English suburban town. I know nothing of a dystopia posing as a holiday destination. I know nothing of a country in which more black hands are in chains now than they were in times of slavery. I know nothing more than that I can't breathe. And these chest-compressing feelings of compassion leave me salivating for reactions to the death of Eric Garner. And I suck on loose cigarettes as I try to see if his killer has any regrets, but he doesn't. Daniel Pantaleo is still one of the dugout's finest. It's just now he sits behind a desk. And I wonder if he still wears that t-shirt and shorts he killed Eric in that day, or whether he burnt them when he sent a beautiful, innocent man to his grave. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Dan Rose. Next up of round 1, please welcome Ian to the mic.
This is one for the guitarist. It's called First Time. New to Yamaha F310s, straight off I tried an awkward hug, the compact body hard, unfamiliar. It bared its metal teeth at me. Home in my arms, it bawled, hulked on the carpet, the bed, snapped at the tuning fork. I bashed it evenings in Highgate, then an archway house share. Neighbours often called and asked me to stop. It's not happy, they said. You can hear it's not happy. I could go my whole life, I thought, never wring from it a grateful note. I was 28, out of time, or was out of time. Between my thumb and finger, the pick worked a slow gyration till I was gripping the wrong edge. That went on for years. My singing was vigorously flat. Barring it was like barring a crocodile. Over beer and silk cuts, we'll work through this, I said. Relationships turn on listening. I tempered my strum, stroked it lightly, called ticking, mumbled Cat Stevens' Trouble, Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here. Sandy spruce top laid on my lap, it slowly hummed. Steel strings, cordial, moved by careful hands. We began to talk of love. And the last one I'm going to read is called Raven. Dark coat and beaked mask, slub on the sky, black banner cracking the frosty air. From his fur-plumped bowl of sticks, roots, mud, to the raven ball goes. Silk creaking quills swishing, soot blackened by the flaming brand, it licked and clung to his white feathers. Black bird from the spirit land, shaggy ruffed bill snapping, clapping, clicking, raven aping the calls of his lost mate to spur her return. Pitch-dipped guide climbing, diamond-tailed, his smart glint on pebbles, golf balls, pearl charred by the shaman's pyre. Some consequence hanging in the stars, he met, transformed. He slipped on his raven coat, mask, took up his fire sticks, and flew.
Thank you very much, Ian. Before we go to our second feature of the night and our first break, we've got a reserve list tonight, so we're going to get up a poet from the reserve list at this point. Can you shout out a number from 1 to 8?
8.
8. That's Eric. Eric.
Okay, so I do this poem in a northern accent, I don't know why, but I end up doing it, so I will start with it. It's no good being black in Bournemouth. They don't want your original tan. They invested too much in enormous hotel bills paid out for by extensive retirement plans. In order to maintain their luxurious havens, a frosted facade, a sepulchral white, like bacterium in the streets, they surround you, their youth turned fascist lymphocyte. They sustain their beliefs through the earth from the bourgeois bastions built on sand, and where their fear and ignorance do not reach, their status and capital can. So if you're black, don't go to Bournemouth. There'll never be a welcome there, for those who use the world for their private gain will always need hate and prejudice to preserve their share. Black bastard! They shout from their disappearing car. This is Bournemouth as well. A wide brimming Ford winding the window down to spit and crack their obscenities. Youth, white, Mako, mirror muscles, bulging, t-shirt on, turning to the girls to share their audacity, giggling girlishly. Slapstick, make-up, clothes. They feel grown up in their boyfriend's motor, steering their lives through council estate, secondary education, a job in the factory, the lights of the city. They end up the same as before, at the bottom, and blacks are easier to kick than the system. All of this I might think I know, moving on, but I didn't. Enemies before we're born. Gypsies. They come each year, the travellers, with a surprise of snow, distilled at twilight untidily in places we reject or never know, pervading the territory with decay and neglect, a smell of stale fat despite their obsession with cleanliness possessing their clothes. Men stand about in suspicious clumps, women cleaning carpets and rugs, washing pegged and hung, flapping like flags, among a scuffle of children and a yelp of dogs. In perpetual foraging or play, appearing, disappearing throughout the working day, a skirmish of cars and vans dispatched to different campaigns for various jobs. They ask only to be left alone and live their lives as they would, beyond our desires and the dismays of a suspicious neighbourhood, whose gallowed eyes and furtive shadows feed imagination's fears fused excuse, breeding fervour and further abuse, to devour tomorrow's victim on today's. Refuse. Thank you. Short film, maybe. In their eyes, the world burns, smouldering like straw before full ignition, the violence done upon them 1,000 times before one word or act will turn it all to a blaze. And our horror is for the moment, not these lived, crushed beyond submission. Senseless. Do I make sense? I don't want to make sense. Nonsense. In a world where there is no sense, senseless repeats. What is it? Defeats. A lack of conviction, dare I believe, yet we seek intensity, its passion, moments that fade and leave us, these desultory emissions somewhat unsatisfactory. It's so hard to believe, being in this century, the riot of self, the not of self, the lack of self-awareness defeats. What is missed? All this grand eloquence has no sense without a sense of purpose or significance. We have chosen to be our own masters and rule nothing because we are alone, and each one of us defended against our isolation by the terror of this defeat, and the creature in the bog is not even a dragon.
Thank you very much to Eric. We're coming up to our last speaker in round one before we go to a quick 10-minute break. And it's our second feature tonight. Please welcome the awesome poet, Rachel NWOKORO.
Okay. Could everyone just do this for me? Yeah, that's enough. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm a frustrating perfectionist, and therefore obviously decided today to put immeasurable amounts of pressure on myself and write a poem for tonight. I have loads of anti-hate poems. It's all I write is poems to combat hate and spread love, but I decided that I need to just write some stuff and share it, and there not to be pressure. So why I did that is because I don't know what's going to come now, and I wanted to feel like we're all in this kind of boat together of uncertainty, so it felt weird. This is going to feel weird for me. We're all in it. Okay. Oh, and also, I hate to ask audience to participate, but in the name of anti-hate, if I point at you or gesture in your general direction, if you could just say the word change in whatever fashion you would like, that would help me out somehow. I think. I'm screaming and I don't want to. Not yet. Maybe you're angry too. I can't hear you, but that's okay. Just scream a little louder. I know it's on the inside, that's okay too. I'm doing this for me and you, if you're there. I'm shouting at the top of my lungs and I really don't want to. I've been told frequently that as a professional voice user, screaming is decidedly bad for my vocal cords, but I'm doing this for me and you, if you're there. Fuck. Vocal cords are these little flaps in our throats that look like aliens, in case you didn't know. Because I didn't know before I went to a speech and language therapist every week. She's got a manic smile, she's too stern with me and I don't like it. And her hair is stupid. That's not even in there, I just wanted to change her hair. Mine are bumpy. Because I smoked too much as a teenager and because my family never learned how to listen to each other, so everyone grew up shouting to be heard. That's why I wake up some mornings and sound like a car exhaust pipe for no reason at all. Bumpy. My vocal cords, not my speech and language therapist, she's not bumpy. I'm shouting and I don't want to. I don't want to shout. So I'm going to stop now. Shit. And I don't know how to write poems anymore.
Change.
Okay. See, I think I write poetry in order to communicate, but I'm brassic if you ask me to communicate how not to hate. Seriously, my pockets are empty. I'm dirt poor for ammunition. Even if I had some, it'd be ill-sufficient for this mission. My weapon is my voice, and it's getting hoarser by the day. I've noticed I don't speak so loud anymore because I'm running out of things to say. And from experience, it's a concept that the universe will not take because I'm seeing quadruple negatives, so I prefer a little release. Instead of speaking on anti-hate, I want to switch to pro-peace. I wanted to write something new for this. Felt compelled to explore a message of hope that sometimes all I've got is the truth, and that is that I'm fucking struggling to cope. You're not supposed to say that when you perform. You're supposed to have it all together. The thing is, I'm standing here holding on to my last tether, so don't think that I am clever because I can draw on a rhyme. This poem is like a feather, it will have no direction, only time and truth. When I lost my best girl at 22, I realised she sought peace so much she needed to rest in it. I didn't get it at the time, but I guess the logic fits. In a society that continually fails sufferers of mental health, the biggest battle can be to fall asleep and wake up not hating yourself.
Change.
I'm easily distracted, it's hard. I know darkness cannot destroy darkness, but the thing is actually my words don't feel full of light. In fact, they are heavy, aching wounds, straining backs, cut off wings and broken tracks.
Change.
Track record. He had a track record. He had a track record of selling CDs. He had a track record of selling cigarettes. He had a nasty track record of inhaling and exhaling while black. Now he has a death certificate.
Change.
Right, fuck hate. Let's start to educate, because bigotry is learned, privilege is not earned, and I'm not playing the race card. It's just I wasn't dealt that many other ones, and I just want to talk to whoever's fixing the game and ask them to take out the jokers, because this shit's not funny anymore. It is just, there is the blood of my brothers and sisters on the streets, and I'd be lying if I said it didn't make me feel weak at the knees, that it didn't hurt. Okay, maybe this one's broken tracks, but I don't want to fight back, I'm tired. I want to throw the record player at the wall and say, hello world! Bring together an orchestra of unlikely souls and teach them to tap dance a beat that hasn't been invented yet, and let me close my eyes and listen to and turn that rhythm into poetry. Because my tracks are broken, my words already spoken and jaded, and I can't make this palatable. I'm not indefatigable. I tire easily.
Change.
They say that people shout when they're angry because their hearts get far apart. Did you know that? To cover the distance, they've got to scream to be able to hear each other. By that logic, the angrier they are, the louder they have to shout to hear each other over the distance of their hearts. And you see, I'm tired of shouting. I don't want to shout. They say that people shout when they're angry because their hearts get far apart, and when we fall in love, we speak softly. Because our hearts are so close that every decibel reverberates for an infinity, and my love, we don't need that many. So in theory, I'm fighting to get my heart so close to this world, I don't need to say a word. You know those times when you've loved so much that you look into each other's eyes and say nothing, but you know you've heard every single word, even the naughty ones, especially the naughty ones. I'm tired of speaking. I want to say nothing. I know that my heart is close to yours. I want to know that my heart is close to yours. I want to speak softly and then say nothing. I want to fall in love with the world and say nothing.
Change.
Thank you so much to Rachel and McKEE. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break and be back with some more amazing speakers and poets speaking out against hate in 10 minutes. Cheers.
No space for
She wants me to
Can we stand in front of this thing? Sorry? Can we stand in front of this thing? Don't stand there.
Hello everybody. Welcome back to round 2 of Spoken Word London's third anniversary. Our special anti-hate theme continues. I just want to make a quick announcement from the bar. You are not allowed to take drinks outside, so please leave them in here if you're going outside. There is a smoking area at the back by the toilets. Okay, to kick off round 2, we have another fabulous featured reader. It is the lovely Rebecca COONEY. Can you give her a round of applause, please?
I am so excited to be here for Spoken Word London's 3rd birthday because I first started doing spoken word poetry in December last year, and I rocked up at a poetry slam and didn't understand that the word slam meant competition. As I was sitting there going, oh shit, what have I got myself into? This nice lady behind me tapped me on the back and said, so we've got another night you could come to, and that was Hannah, and I've been coming here ever since, and it's just been a wonderful way into the world of spoken word poetry in London. It's an incredibly warm, welcoming night. Kind of the stuff that people share blows your mind on a regular basis. Like every 5 minutes, just having your mind blown is a fantastic experience, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful, friendly community, and it's been brilliant. So thank you so much, guys. So this is one of the first poems that I sort of wrote when I started doing spoken word, and a bit like Woody was saying earlier, and I know we've had a couple of other speakers that mentioned it, like, I'm doing pretty well in the privilege stakes. I'm doing okay, you know? And a couple of years ago, I got together with my partner, and he was on a visa to stay here, and there was a hair-raising moment in March where it didn't look like he was going to get his indefinite leave to remain. And we were kind of going, do we want to move to Bombay? What do we want to do? He did eventually get it, but it was a very eye-opening experience, to put it that way. I don't think I've ever felt so small before the state before. And I think I would have had a lot of the same things I have now, but just at a distance. And I suppose that's what privilege is, that comfort to kind of go, yeah, this stuff's bad. And not kind of feel it with that immediacy, perhaps. And this poem kind of touched on that sort of thing. So this is called The 3-Day Beard. Day 1. When blood runs in the streets of Paris at the sort of gig your boyfriend might have gone to, head banging till heads bang to the floor, still dreaming of music, even though music has become screams. You will listen to the news reports, count up the rising dead like prayer beads, and feel so small in a world of old pain and fresh grief spreading on the cobblestones. Day 2, when your boyfriend turns to you and says that if something like that should happen here, he would shave his beard off to keep from being attacked by people who see only skin the colour of different. skin the colour of a bomb in a backpack, skin the colour of the dust in the places where we accept that this sort of thing just happens. Your heart will break, more than a little. It is a beard that has grown with him, from a patchy soul patch on a skinny youth who arrived from India, clutching a Metallica album and a vague notion of who he was going to be, to a forest that spreads across his face like his smile. It is a beard that has crossed oceans, that caught the first snowflakes of his life, that bears the familiar roots of your hands traced through it. Not an expression of faith in a god, but an expression on the face of a man learning where he fits in the world, which now stands ready to be razed to the ground as politicians tell you this will not change the way we live. It has been a long time since your definition of we has not included him. You will picture him standing at a border that has been designated yours and not his, with his papers in his hands, trying to explain why he no longer looks like himself, pleading with all the pride he has left to be let in. Day 3, when you hear 2 women in the seat behind you on the bus say, "These immigrants come to kill and cheat. Close the tunnels, leave the sinking boats to drown, and anyone who thinks differently, anyone whose bleeding heart stays open, cannot love their country." You will not tell them that hearts are meant to bleed. That is literally the point of them. You will not tell them that it's hard to love a country that does not love the man you do. You will not tell them that this country is beginning to feel like a stranger, and that when his beard comes off, we will be alien in a country that used to talk of tolerance. And if the definition of immigrant is to arrive at a place different from your point of origin, their words will make immigrants of us all. And what papers will we show at the borders then but the black and white headlines which scream damnation on our nation through hatred of all others, that cut the story short and leave the black root of the problem hidden below the skin? That our country thought to hold the whole world in its hands and remain untouched, when we have scrambled for Africa, divided oceans into a triangle, a middle passage for black bodies, ripped lands apart as a parting shot. How are we still creating partitions? We are drinking from a poisoned well and wondering why the slime is catching on his beard, as though the beard were to blame. Instead, you will gather up your rage with your Tesco shopping bags, get off the bus, go home and get into bed. Feel his beard tickle against your skin, seek asylum in his arms, in the only country that demands nothing, no papers, nothing of you but you, and weep at the bare-faced cheek of it all. Thanks, guys.
Wow, thank you to COONEY. Okay, next up we have a regular at Spoken in London. It is Marika. Can we give a big round of applause, please?
London! How are you doing? We all have our dirty secrets, yeah? I've got a secret I'd like to share with you. Do you promise you won't tell? Do you promise you won't tell?
Yes!
Do you promise you won't lynch me?
Yes!
Do you? That's important. All right, listen. I'm foreign. Do you want to know what's worse? I'm European. Do you know what's better? I'm not like some of my lovely friends who are from Poland or Romania or Bulgaria, which are all really lovely countries, and everyone who says anything about them has clearly never been outside their village. Seriously. But British politics, having been what they have been over the last couple months, have made me ruminate on a certain discourse of who's an immigrant and who's an expat. And this isn't the poem or one of those things where like, is this an intro that's turning into the poem? This is just preamble. I was just thinking to myself, look, I wasn't born here, well, cultural imperialism and post-colonial stuff has gotten me, like, really fitting in. But, yeah, so technically, immigrant, white, expat, developed country, European, immigrant, migrant, or like one time the guy on the train really helped me out and added to the discourse. Maybe like immigrant, expat, Nazis come, why don't you goose step on back where you came from? And with leaving me with the refrain of 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup. I know that one. Can I just add that it was just one, and God knows how many. I don't actually care about football, but anyway, I got this hat. And I got it for the football, for the one night I did care about football. It was in 2014. Do you like it? And, right, direct a preamble to the poem now, which is what I'm here for. Brief history lesson, you guys all know what Germany did in World War II, right? Okay, so the process of denazification and the cultural fallout that's remained with future generations came to be encapsulated by one word. And this word roughly translates to struggling to overcome or come to terms with the past, and it really means really analyzing and trying to understand what happened, why, how, and how can we avoid it? And are we the same people we were then? And is it more frightening if the answer is no or yes? This poem is Vergangenheitsbewältigung. I'm gonna hold my notebook like a twat like this because my photographer friend said I might have a chance of looking decent in the photos. Achtung! I've been afraid to leave the house. I've been a scared little fool. Must be my Vergangenheitsbewältigung. The townhouse in Stuttgart is oppressive, and the penthouse in Cyprus is stifling. Weighed down by Vergangenheitsbewältigung. Like Moishe the Beadle, hysterical, paranoid, disseminator of nonsense, screaming over my Vergangenheitsbewältigung. Very slowly, then very fast. Should I remain, or should I leave at last? Don't run away like some rat, says my Vergangenheitsbewältigung. Nothing will happen. Nothing like that. I see graffitied on Oxford Circus, foreign pack! And I half anticipate an outright attack. But someone crossed the graffiti out and wrote welcome. They must know that long German word. Your mama thinks I'm dirt, and our country thinks I'm scum. I've got 99 problems, but a Luftballon ain't one.
Thank you very much, Enrico. Sorry about that, we're just trying to get through everyone, so we're being fair. Okay, next up, third speaker on round 2 is the wonderful Matt Jones. Can we give him a big round of applause?
I want to do a poem that I've done here before called Zombie.
Yeah!
Sorry. Often when I do it as a I'm really socially awkward, please love me sort of poem. But in reality, it's actually about please don't be scared of people as much as you can. Especially if they're a bit strange or a bit foreign or perhaps have a sense of the undead about them, perhaps if they want to bite you, because after all we do all taste like chicken. So please, do not be afraid, or panic, or take a spade to my face, or a shotgun, or a frag grenade, put out by my stare. The dead eye fix of my gaze, head lolling, slack-jawed, rigid arms with hands held up before. I stand amazed. I mean, next to you I shuffle, creep, lurch even, dragging my feet, drawn by movement, by sound, by heat, by your running away. And yes, it's true, I want your heart, but not to eat. I'm just grateful, dead, to be near you, hit by your flare, your light, your flash of beauty, gunfire bright by your smile. I am bit. For you are all that is quick and alive, vibrant, soft, succulent, doing whatever it takes to survive. I am the sick, the carrier, patient zero, who dies whenever he's near you. I make this verse the virus to quieten your fears and open your eyes to the wonder of the milling, shopping mall crowd of humanity, teeming, brash and loud, brazen, bursting, not to be cowed by an undead existence, but rather endowed with a genius, all for loving and living, surprisingly recreating, even within a frenzy of berating. An infection of connections. Of need for another, tender and forgiving, with you in the midst of them, the queen of the swarm, the killer bee, the top piranha. You massacre me. My brainstem you dismember with your Bruce Campbell chainsaw and chin, fighting my revival again and again and again, and I am cast in a reverse horror movie, the lumbering survivalist, the lone last zombie in a human apocalypse, the one undead in a dawn of the living, in need of care and warmth and breathing, and your love might be the bullets to the head. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Matt Jones. Thank you so much. I wonder what the people that are watching this live on YouTube thought was happening. Okay, next up on round 2 we have Andy. Can we bring a round of applause, please?
Let's get straight into it. They've all seen her, sometimes grinning, oft-times sad and sinning, seen aloof when she's privately thinking, thankless thoughts not needed. Shrill internal cries collide unheeded in these the city's stony, sour public spaces, and she frequently perceives her feet swept aside by these automated, machinated eyes, unreadable, unreachable, readable minds, only alive in the bright thin guise of London city lights, leaping over the brink of another incredible, forgettable Saturday night. They all know her, but none can say which her face is. Not least like those who knew her back when she was less evasive, when she was frankly redoubtable. Hers, now, is doubtable. Clouded and shrouded by shrill internal abstract drives, remnants of past fucked up lives, relived in long cold, lonely nights when really she ought to somehow stop, sit down and talk to, negotiate and unobfuscate the place from which resides a kind, defined, and lovely face, yet she's afraid and day-to-day strays from the blaringly menacing business of witnessing daybreak, walking or strutting her path straight, turning back and then watching the past fade. How can you emerge from a world where you successfully sought to cease to exist? Were you manufactured factors forcing you yourself not to be missed? And she can't comprehend that this purpose-built path will still fit, so she sits and sits and sits. We're trying to do some music lately, and I've got a friend of mine who does the vocals to a little thing that I wrote. I can't sing at all, so I'm just gonna speak the vocals bit. I've got to be out of my mind. I've got to be insane, in pain. I've got to be out of my head. I do not hear. I do not fear I'm here. Midnight. My focus flows from flurried heights. The lights are low, I'm cold, although I'm feeling bright. Peep, I'm proper broke. In my pockets only coppers hold. Obstacle. No money for the bus, and as the backpack eats my collarbone, I bundle on and walk. I'm busy marching home. Insane, in pain, I've got to be out of my head. I do not hear. I do not fear I'm here. Inward through my thoughts I go, as I brave the cold, boldly marching home. No interest in the figures that behold beyond the pictures all around, and they're around, you know it's Saturday. My mind's astray, pondering a passage I had read before the lights were low. The unexamined life is not worth living, that's what Plato said. How do you examine yourself? Mate! Mate! Summoned by a melancholy minotaur. Hands tremble when they try, eyes beadier than gems, mouth asking for a light, mumbling rumblings of the night ahead. Something about an up-and-coming DJ set and knock-off pills. They're fucking good, mate. I can't sit still. Scattered thoughts, of course, the only common thread coming from my oldest friend who greets me on the road I chose while Plato flows about my head. I gotta be out of my head. I gotta be insane, in pain. I gotta be out of my head. I do not hear. I do not fear I'm here.
Thank you very much to Andy. Okay, next up on round 2 of Spoken Word London this evening, we have Norman the Dapper, a comedian, come to grace the stage.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much to gracious hosts for allowing me, a renegade of the comedy scene, to come here to this spoken word night. Thank you very much. I am Norman, aka the Dapper Rapper. Thank you. I am a young rap artist. Hang on, I'll finish yet. Trapped in the body of an old comedian. Yeah, I've created essentially a new character. You might call me transgenre. Yeah, I've got 2 for you tonight. I know we're on a deadline. I am fascinated by the power of propaganda. Those of you who saw the recent Brexit result, some of you are too young to know that there actually has been a 35-year hate campaign waged in the British media against the European Union. So it was a bit harsh expecting Jeremy Corbyn to overturn that in 6 weeks. So my first rap this evening is about the power of propaganda, and it's called Media. Hope you like it. When I look at the state of the world right now, there is only one question. That question is how. How did it happen? How can it be? This terror, war, inequality. The answer this time isn't on Wikipedia. The answer, I think, is the power of the media. The media, the media. They'll trick you, they'll bleed you. They're the wise transmitters. We're the humble receivers, pumping out propaganda 24/7, making people in hell think they're living in heaven. Here is the news. You are in danger from Russians, Muslims, all other strangers. Don't be alarmed. We're going to save you by spying on you and your every behaviour. Jeremy Corbyn we ignore or thump. We'd rather give airtime to fascists like Trump. In other news, are you a gullible fool? A textbook sucker for divide and rule? We tell you lies, we sell you short. And now, it's over to Brian for the sport. Terry Thomas was right, they're an absolute shower. Cozying up to absolute power, so if you, like me, are bored of this procedure, if you'd really rather they didn't BuzzFeed you, if you want world peace, Who doesn't? And he wanted Media raise a glass with me and say, Media, we don't need you. Media, we don't need you. Media, we don't need you. That's the first one, thank you. I've got time for one more. I'll leave you with this one, it's called Hate Speech Preacher. I'm a hate speech preacher, preaching hate. My hate speech is peachy. I think it's great. Listen up, Britain. Hear my speech. I'm a hate speech preaching son of a beach. Hate speech is shunned by polite society. They think it's the height of impropriety. In order not to procrastinate, I'm going to reach for my speech about the things I hate. I hate terror. I hate war. I think fascists are a bore. I hate racists. They're so thick. Those knuckleheads get right on my wick. I hate rank hypocrisy. What's good for you should be good for me, but it doesn't seem to be that way because the white millionaire always gets away with slander, theft, bribery, deadly lies about WMD. Seems a rich white guy could say what he likes while he tells hate preachers to get on their bikes. Islamophobia, now that's hateful. Media serving it by the plateful. It's in the Express and the Mail and the Sun. Yeah, they bash those Muslims one by one. They hypnotise, demonise. They're preaching hate right before our eyes. So, until double standards are erased, my hate speech standard will be raised. 'Cause listen up, Britain, hear my spiel. I'm a hate speech preacher, but at least I'm trying to keep it real. Thank you very much.
Oh wow, thank you very, very much to Norman the Dapper. Okay, before we get our next featured act on, we are going to take somebody from the reserve list. There are 7 people left on the reserve list. Can I hear a number between 1 and 10? I had to. I'm going to go with number 2, which is Abe Gibson. Should we give a big round of applause?
Listen, you have to remember, if anytime you're in the reserve, they bring your family in there to shout out to me. All right. I didn't think I was going to get on tonight, but it did not matter because every performance poet tonight smashed it. Every single one. Auntie had two short poems. It's like there's a couple of stanzas you have to have against hate. And here's the first one. It's called Empathy. Who are we? Who is born a soldier? Who is born an enemy? We are often fighting for many reasons. We lose control of our feelings, punch drunk in the quicksand of our brutality when overnight it is day, after day it is night, animal, vegetable, mineral. What is for you is yours. What is for me is mine, the medicine of empathy, the emptiness of evil. When I can't strive with you, I can build with you. We can put life on a higher plane of living, or we can destroy what we build, deprive each other of water, and in our revenge, we simply exchange places in this suffering. In life there is much music, many dancers without partners, many feelings, yet to breathe. Life is a whisper in the universe. When you deny me mine, you deny yourself yours. Her story, his story. Our needs are the same. We are particles of dust without the fall of rain, so wouldn't it make sense? Under the stars, and through the rains, to be unafraid, be still in the chaos we created. I can let go. Let go, I can. Let go, we can. Leave our children to have their own seasons. Thank you. We're taking up the last piece of seconds. All right, this is the point that I'd like you to join in. Every time I say anywhere, please say anywhere. It's about our children. Meet us anywhere.
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 Where the August rain falls so lightly, you are not sure if it ever lands where you learn to ride the bicycle so well you can. Let go the use of your hand. Meet us.
Anywhere.
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 Family member again. Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Where your grandmother calls your name with such longing to meet her in the kitchen, where your mother chases you around the front room to rub cocoa butter on your dry skin. The sky wants you under it. There are secrets for you to find, and God will tickle you. Even as you sleep, that is why some days you wake up smiling. But even in a hurricane, you can whisper, whistle, pull, push, shout, scream, smile. I will find you and I will meet you anywhere. It is as if. Sorry about that, I went too far. Anywhere. It is as if tears that rolled around the sun flushed through our hearts and burst through our eyes at your first breath. And the feel of your tiny hand wrapped around one of our fingers has made more a person of us than we could ever make of ourselves. It is as if smiles that were smuggled out of pain somehow remained on the balcony of our imagination, and for the men seeing you at your mother's breast makes us search our soul for all that we can give you, and we will meet you anywhere.
Anywhere.
Give you moments of our everything.
Anywhere.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to A System. Thank you so much. Okay, it's time to introduce the fourth featured reader of tonight. I think it was the second time that I came to Spoken Word London. This lovely guy sat down beside me and we were having a really nice chat, and then he got to perform and I was like, fucking hell. He's amazing. And he's since become a very good friend of mine. So can we give a massive round of applause to Dean McKEE?
I started coming about 2 years ago, I would say. 2 years ago? Yeah. It's a real space. Like, I remember Spoken Word London like this, you know what I mean? Where we're all crammed in, your legs are fucked. Because you're sitting on the floor and you're cramping up, but you're like, I can't move, the poetry's good. Yeah, and it's been a real, people like, I think we take for granted a real space where we can just express ourselves for who we are, you know, and not feel any judgment, and this is one of those spaces. And it's great that we have that, you know what I mean, because we need that right now. So yeah, it's a massive thank you to not only Pat and Hannah for hosting it and putting it on every week and putting their time in, it's for everybody here for accepting everyone for who they are. So thank all of you. I don't work out set lists. Like, Hannah can pay testament. I don't. I just go with what I think is going to be good on the night. And I'm still struggling because I'm a very angry poet. And like, if you see me perform, you know. If you haven't, you're in for a fucking treat. But yeah, that's just me, you know what I mean? And I kind of like, I fell out of love with the poetry scene for a while because I felt like I was catering to voices that maybe I shouldn't have. And then I started being angry again, and I realised that's who I am. Like, we've got things to be angry about, and it's not an angry hate, it's an angry passion. And it's a passion for wanting to be. So yeah, I'm just going to do poetry and rising. That's why I keep my... Truth be told, my Reebok classics have had it. A worn out soul to match my worn out soul on this planet. Hov said it best, because it's on to the next one. Even my mum told me, you got to change your bed, son. Thought I was on cloud 9, but really I'm cotton picking. A slave to the light, speed at the skies or Piccadilly, so it's adios. to the city I love most. You never know, I might send a letter in the post. That's one. I'm going to do some old stuff because I haven't done old stuff. And yeah, fuck it. Trust is a funny thing. It takes years to build up and then you're in, but then all it takes split second of a mistake to undo your hard work and seal your fate. Now devious people, they use trust as a mask to hide who they are, like they're sitting in the dark. She is being blinded by that metaphorical light placing her naive trust in someone she thought was tight. This beautiful innocent, ruined by trust for that devious person who said the motive was lust, and this deviant stood like a pro, he's done it before. Turned starry-eyed beauties into drug-addicted whores. I know the words I choose are strong. But am I the only brother that thinks this is wrong? When I see one prey on a naive mind, I burn to stop it and turn back the hands of time. See, all I want to do is break the unforgiving cycle, beat that man with my belt, then hold his head on my mind like a title. So tell me what's next? If we already have nothing, then we lose our respect. Making someone feel like they belong on a shelf, but you forget how we treat others as only a reflection of ourselves. Cool. Make someone feel worthless. All it does is show your self-worth, but we were all once children who were priceless at birth. So why did we lose value of ourselves the more time passes? Is it through negative comments or is it through ignorant bastards? And how are we supposed to progress when all we see is violence and sex? Imprinted on the nose with soft minds rather sniffed at right lines. Fulfilling out fantasies of what they see on the mainstream. Mind filled with sick daydreams, thoughts being more than meaning. If you can't hear it in my words or my tone of voice, all I'm saying is never take an innocent person's choice. These men tainted by our sick culture, hovering above the unsuspecting like ravenous vultures. Rather behave like cavemen than progress our own cultures. I find it downright sickening, but it's sad and it's true that trust is the most destructive weapon known to man, as well as glue. Struggling with at the moment. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. It's that simple. It's 3 words. I don't know why people struggle to say all lives matter. Black Lives Matter. You're not being shot down. Like, cool. Yeah, white people do get gunned down. Brown people get gunned down. Yellow people get gunned down. But at the moment, mass incarceration is the new slavery. Let's be real. So this is something I wrote. I was responding to someone on a Facebook status, and I wrote this like, yeah, like it really irks me, and especially as like a white male, like I know my privilege and I understand it, and I'm doing conscious things to change that. So it's like we all have a privilege in a sense, and we need to change that to bring it to one level. But yeah, this is what I wrote. I can't breathe. Eric Garner's eyes are closed, but we're the ones who can't see. I can't breathe. His last words before his soul lay to rest, lit a spark which ignited a fuse with his last breath. Mike Brown, unarmed civilian gunned down. Ferguson riots, the state stays quiet. Rest in peace, 12-year-old Tamir Rice. Be careful, you point the finger, you might get shot twice. Further into information we delve, seems the officer who killed Tamir was deemed unfit for duty since 2012. Let's not forget Rooney in Brisbane. 34 from Phoenix, Arizona, unarmed yet shot dead. Now his 2 daughters will never feel his warmth as he leans on his shoulder. And what of the officers? Indicted? Behind bars that they sat? No, the only person in prison is the man who filmed Eric Garner's death as he lay on a chokehold on his back. Now, for every person who has died through this injustice, may they rest in peace and let's remember their memories, because their lives were taken by the police. That's one. I'm gonna end on a lighter note because you guys are fucking angry now. But yeah, this is like, it's, yeah. Cheers, sir. I ramble, like, that's what I do. I hear the rhythmic beat of zombie soldiers trudging up the steps to the escalator. At the end of the day, we all have one thing in common. Our destination is the central line of our plan, whether that be business in Hammersmith and City or pleasure up in the Metropolitan. We all know what's going on. Everybody's headed to a district, one that might circle our thoughts. Her name being Victoria, but she wants to roll up to Bakerloo's her centre, which only ties into what I'm seeing. Guys approach with these underhand tactics, whereas mine are as open as the overground, but she's been saturated by these overused, underthought chat-up lines so much that she's become unattainable. Would you believe that? It's just I want to know every inch of her body and mind, but she's fell in love with guys that just want to, and she ain't making that mistake another time, so I'm going to have to use TFL journey plan to show the right path I can find to make my intentions as clear as the view from the Emirates Air tram line. I'm going to have to walk on water. And I ain't talking DLR chain routes, but I'm going to need more to make her walk that way too. See, we met in the circus that is Piccadilly. I noticed out the corner of my eyes, I look up from around this aura of a person my gaze was yet to find. I don't really do this, I don't know what to say. Hi? I'm leaning and I noticed your aura from a mile away. She smiled and we got talking. And I fell in love with her words even though her accent was a bit northern. She smiled and said I was just the right amount of southern, even though I reminded her of someone out of a Great Western she must watch, which I couldn't believe. I said, so London hasn't made you southeastern yet? She just come to work in Southwest. Then we started debating on which city was the best. Me, London. Yeah, we got a mainstream sound. I believe when I say we are run by the underground. Instant connection, no HS2 system needed. This is the first capital connect I believed in a long time. Could I take you to a spot where we can see the Docklands Light? It's truly a beautiful sight. Plus I got somewhere near we can stay, because I doubt you're going to make the last train. Jumped on the Waterloo City and made our way. Stayed for the night and enjoyed the sights. Tell her I'll give her a ring when I get home, but all I hear is a deafening silence from her phone. A few days went by. I guess I let it go. Turns out Victoria was a trouble soul. A chill turned my spine cold as I heard on the radio she jumped in front of a Central Line train to make the pain go. Speechless. In shock, I sat. That's why I always shed a tear when I hear the tannoy say, mind the gap. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the team. Okay, we're going to take a 10-minute break and then we'll be back for round 3. Remember, there are no drinks allowed outside. Thank you very much.
That's great. Enjoy it. Sorry, good. So, that was great. Yeah, that's great.
I'll come out with you.
Thank you so much. You're amazing. Beautiful. Cheers. Cheers.
I love the words at the beginning.
Cheers, man.
All right, for anybody with disability, homophobia. Can I get you after that? It's not easy to do that. It's not easy
Actually, no, leave it a mystery. Leave it.
Hello! Welcome back to round 3 of Spoken London, our 3rd anniversary. We're going to kick off again. Hello? Hello?
One second. Hi, I'm Ailey. I'm the promoter for this venue. I just want to take 1 second to say thank you so much to Pat and Hannah for running this night. Can you please all join me in saying happy birthday to Spoken Word London? Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, Spoken Word London! Happy birthday to you!
Thank you very much to Ailey. So we're going to carry on with our anti-hate theme tonight, and we've got our 5th featured speaker of the night, our 5th featured poet of the night. Please give it up for one of our regulars of Spoken Word London, an amazing young poet, and give it up for Felix.
So some of you might recognise me. I don't recognise half of you, I'm sorry. But, I come here quite often. And yeah, so as a bunch of you might know, so I'm just going to put this down here because I'm kind of worried that I don't know off my heart. As a bunch of you might know, I'm Felix, I'm 18, and I suffer from this condition where I'm a guy, but everyone thinks I'm a girl, also known as being trans, so that's a fun time. And I write a lot of poetry about that. And so today I wanted to recite to you the first ever poem that I wrote, like apart from, you know, like primary school acrostics. And this poem, I wrote it like literally the day after I tried to audition for my school musical, Grease. Yeah, it's very high school. And I was like, yeah, I really want to be Danny Zuko and like wear the leather jacket and be really cool. And they were like, nah, it's not happening. And I was like, so then I got really angry and I wrote this poem. So enjoy that. It's called Ultimate Compression Tri-Top Chest Binder, size medium, a love story.
Yeah.
Yes. Zip me back into my skull. Be the muzzle on my muffled heart as I stand in cold silence in a hot, lit theatre and hear them tell me they thank me for my audition, tell me they sympathise with my situation, tell me Danny Zuko cannot possibly be played by a girl pretending to be a boy. Well, I am sick to my chest of pretense, of girls pretending to be boys, of boys pretending to be girls, pretending to be boys, of words pretending to be more than warm pennies weighing me down by the palms of my hands. All I wanted was to act, and all they have given me was pretense. My mother does not know my name. We sit at the breakfast table together like children at school desks, and I pray she does not hear the dry coughs of a daughter's ghost condensing at the base of my throat like cologne stolen from my father's medicine cabinet. I think there is a ghost in my lung. We have never met. She is my Prometheus. She sits perched on my lower left rib, having called shotgun on my body 18 years ago, but you are my car crash strap. You can wrap an elastic band round the half-second lag between the mirror and me, and you can trap me in this hard, white shell of stillness so I can finally breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Thank you. That was sweet. Okay. And then my second poem. So basically that was written like a year and a half ago. I don't know. A while ago. And the second poem I wrote like this week. And a lot has changed between these two poems, but also a lot hasn't. And I want to talk about basically this thing that a lot of LGBT people face, which is like coming out to your parents. And okay, so you know, you come and you're like, okay, so it's either going to go one of two ways. They're either going to be like, okay, great, you're trans, that's fine, or they're going to be like, okay, great, you're trans, that's not fine. You know, like it's going to go one of two ways. Turns out there's a third way, and that's oh, and then leave, and then pretend that it never happened, and then the next day you come in and you're like, yeah, so as we were talking, they were like, what? Wait, what? And you're just like, wait. And it's kind of like this Groundhog Day scenario where you just like keep coming out to your parents. Like, when is it gonna stick? That like, it's just, anyway, so yeah, I don't know if this is a common thing, but basically it's the thing that's happened to me and it's really annoying. So anyway, so I wrote a poem about it. It's called The Closet. Okay. You say I love you, and it falls right through me, through the back of my skull, and touches someone else. I forget who's the ghost and who's just invisible, who's the consolation prize, who's the flowers of funeral. I forget about this other child that I've only glimpsed in mirrors for the moment you say I love you, but it hasn't quite fallen through me yet. She is constant, solid, real. And even though she's made of stale memory and air, you can hold her hand, not mine. Sometimes I think I'm living in another dimension. If your love is projected across X and Y, I and my closet are on the graph of another alphabet. And even though I've told you my name, you stare at me blankly like I'm not speaking your language, like we've missed a translation in the gap between this universe and mine. And maybe I should just keep trying. But you see, some days I can hardly bear myself, let alone bad news. Some days my fingertips can't even brush that door. Some days I push it wide open, walk free along the corridor just to find it's a Mobius strip twisting me back to where I was. Some days this closet is a fucking IKEA and I just can't figure out how to leave. They said the first step is the hardest part, but no one ever told me how many first steps I have to take. And maybe I've never moved because my location never changes, but there are pieces of grit in my boots that prove that I have been places. And there is glass under my fingernails, but I won't break. And just because I bruise often doesn't mean I bruise easily, and I refuse to be another one of this family's skeletons in the closet, and I will keep saying my name from this side of the glass until you hear me, until you listen, until you remember. Because, like a nuclear missile launch system, my existence requires two people to turn the key. And maybe one day you'll open the door and you'll feign surprise, like when an invited but unwanted visitor comes, and you'll say, "Oh, how lovely. Has it really been that long?" And maybe you'll hug me and ask me how I am, and maybe I'll smile and say that I'm fine, and maybe you'll say my name and say I love you, and maybe I'll finally feel it this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Felix for starting off round 3 with absolutely amazing, powerful set. Next up in round 3, please welcome the newcomer to Spoken Word London. Please give it up to Ash.
Hi everyone, I don't know how to follow that. Really. Okay, I thought I knew what I was going to read tonight. I have learned like you, and it's really like the other poets, incredible. Okay, I'll give you a choice. Orlando Overdetermined or Less Hopeless Hope.
Orlando.
Okay. Disney World, and that's Orlando today, where fantasy and reality collide. How to make sense of such fury? Before he screamed ISIS, his father blamed his son's rage when having witnessed 2 men kissing in public without care in front of his son and son's son. I spent 2 days picking up random guys in London the days after Orlando to make out tongue to tongue, to come out eye to eye, on the bus, on the tube, on the street, to be seen, to shock in solidarity, for harmony, to unveil my rage, to show your tolerant intolerance and your intolerant tolerance and your prejudice and mine too. But I saw much more, kind sense, and smiles, and cheers, and love, unified. I watch straights doing it all the time. I feel repulsed. Not at their show of love, but at my own shame, for not being brave to flaunt my love. Repulsed at myself, my lack of guts. Shame at my fear, my homophobia. But it's more than that. It's a fear of being smacked, fear of being abused, fear of my indoctrination, anger too. Family, culture, religion, society. A shooter loved to get wasted there, Pulse. A sister's loving memory to her brother who had long died of AIDS. The shooter got laid, so they say, on Grind and Jacked, his tug-of-war teeter-board mind. Then one day he went there to murder people of colour, of other minority cultures, to show out his confusion, his clashes, his shame, his fear, his brainwash, his arrogance, his homophobia, his racism, his toxicity, his masculinity, his ignorance, his abuse, his control, his dick as a gun. And he declared his religion in unreasoned rave, see all, hear all, no reformation reason, to make people disappear in revenge of a gay kiss, a kiss he missed, leaving behind accused wife, a quickly forgotten, fought for, fraud son, and in judgment not merciful, 49, too many, ripped realities, his fantasy. Everyone wants an easy answer when it's overdetermined, his past, his present, his future. He knew his name would live on in a wall of shooters, and that heaven's virgins were not meant for him. Those things are clear. So go out and kiss, be proud, be brave, fight your fear, show no shame. You are here, we are here, to remain. That's brilliant. Okay. I'm going to try a new poem. Read into it whatever you want to read into it. I only wrote it, I tried it out yesterday at Poetry Cafe with Jean-Paul. And, okay, here goes. It's called Lest Hopeless Hope and Grotesque Grief's Grievance. Without knowing if or when you would appear, I waited for you, my love, like a seasick fool, searching the seven seas for heaven's redemptive home. I gave up everything, flaunting despair's conscious and consciousness, walking with the undead to penetrate the depths of land's life, to the beds of the seas and the oceans, to explore the darkest shadows of my soul, to protect, to destroy, and to bury away that which I could not bear. And when I found you appearing like a monsoon rain, breaking the drowning stertorous heat, I did not recognize you, nor you me, both lost and hiding like rabid dogs, salivating in solitude, promising not to give heart to love ever again. And as we surfaced from hell in disguise, you saw me and I felt you, as we made love, laughing at hate, unified in exaltation, against nature, resurrected from the dead, my love. Floating now again between life and death, you hear my voice, and I even see you smile as you hold my finger to tell me we are still here, in partnership. How can an unconscious man still breathe? Lost in the middle of the sea, once more on a shipwrecked lifeboat, counting the waves, I now escape the solitude of each day, lost in memory, yours, mine and ours, to deny the loneliness to come without you, my love. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Ash. Next up on round three, please give a warm, friendly round of applause to James.
That's cool. Hey. That's right. This is my first time here. It's pretty so far. I'm try and squeeze two of these in, so I'm going to be quick. The first one today is the 1-year anniversary of my best friend's death, and he died in a drink and drive accident. So get drunk, but don't fucking drive after that. His name was Dominic. Thanks. His name was Dominic, and he used to wear a pinstripe shirt, so we used to call him the pinstripe prince. Sorry, 1, 2, 3 beer. Here goes. There goes the pinstripe prince into the alleyway between the construction site and the 7-story parking lot. Off the corner of loath and despair, the dark square of a checkered life. Checkered flag, fuck it. Take your starting spot. The race is on at the parlor of parasites. Oversized Hot Wheels, Skeletrix, and Lego Technics pine for the attention of Lady Luck and the Madam Death. Some hang dice, some keep the scythe of Manny Calavera in their sights as foresight. Dia de los Muertos could come on any night, any roundabout could be a revolution, any junction could be a juxtaposition of function. Find yourself staring into the filter of lies that bleeds red light. Though your foot is on the pedal's part of the car is made from the metals that synthesize in a star. The stars shine light upon the roads that the wheels grip. The axis is your fear and the rotary is the world. I think I might trust. Thank you.
Yeah.
Alright, so this anti-hate, right? This one's, yeah, sort of anti-self-hate. I've never performed it before, let's try. I hate the way that I push myself to be something that is unreal. And when the chips are down in the crunch, I'm all vinegar and no steel. The sinister undertones make it seem like everything's a done deal when it isn't. I can't help but listen anyway, cause to love myself is something I didn't feel in the nights. I chased ideals I didn't really like. Afternoons were beginnings of feelings that I couldn't fight. Mornings open destiny's book I didn't dare to write. Week to week, sick to my gut before I dared to care less about the me that I wasn't and the things that I didn't have, cause the things I have are the best. And though I'm not on a beach for the gram, I'ma dance all night, loving me, loving you, loving life. Loving me, loving you, loving life. Loving me, loving you, loving life. Loving me, loving you, loving me, loving you, loving me, loving you, loving life. Thank you.
Thank you very much to James. Next up on round 3, please welcome a guy who's been a bit of a regular at Spoken Word London. He hasn't been here for a while, but he's back in tonight. Please give up for Rashid.
Jumpy, right? It's amazing. How's it going, guys? Good. Alright. So this poem is called The Times We Live In. So, talking about the times we live in.
Go on, Rashid, tell us.
It's difficult to understand the dark nature of man. From Ku Klux the Klan to invisible villains inside of Afghanistan, Israel, Palestine, the United States and Iran, North Korean abductions of citizens in Japan, Iraqis and Afghans, wars in Pakistan, peace doesn't appear to be a part of the plan. Unmanned drones just miss the Taliban and annihilate the kids who play inside the sand. The best laid plans of mice and man often go awry, it's hard to understand. The blood on the scene resembles a red dress. Sin seeps the soul and is difficult to redress. If we're going to call it a crime, we can channel Elliot Ness and call our politicians untouchable in the West. But it's hard to speak easy on the subject. And hindsight is in the 20s. And they don't always know the consequences of their decisions. So many tough calls in the times that we live in. Super shady deals for sports stadium plans, treat citizens like sheep and then fleece the fans. And this reached Rio, Duran will just sing an anthem as we make travel plans, ignoring inequality. I turn on TV, I see the preordained hell of children in favelas, which news teams record under helicopter propellers. It's hard to keep it together, it's hard to keep it together. Took a trip to Ghana, age of 16. It changed my whole life. I surveyed the scene in a church in a village. I met a soul seeker, a preacher who pillaged money from all the poor. His wife wore a dress the crowd couldn't ignore. The money compared to them made my bones chill to the core. He was a parasite. The crowd showed the major symptoms. Did my best to debate, but it didn't make any difference. I spoke, but he didn't listen. Mechanical with precision, he told me to read the Deuterocanonical Book of Wisdom. He told me he was seen as a savior with a mission to save the audience from hellfire and cataclysms. And I replied, look, the road to hell is paved with good intent. If our souls are in court, the sinners lie and lament, the wise await trial, the judges weigh the intent, the rest reap and repent. After they sowed seeds that didn't make any sense to what they initially meant. Now I don't know if he was shocked, mad or surprised. If it's better the devil you know, I guess it's better living the lie. These times that we live in, tensions in the world blow up on a split decision like US nuclear fission. In Hiroshima, I dream of a post-apocalypse vision. If conflict is cancer, I hope that it's in remission. Hope children in future listen to questions that we didn't answer. Like how to live well and peacefully on this earth. My opinion, for what it's worth, just the thoughts of a poet. And this is just my own statement mission. I thank you to all who listened. You're great and I hope that you know it.
Thank you so much to Rashid. Next up on round 3, it's a newcomer to Spoken Word London who doesn't want to be filmed, but please give a very warm, friendly, supportive round of applause for Aisha.
Yeah!
Wow, thank you so much, Aisha. Next up on Spoken Word London, round 3 tonight, please give up for Nathan.
Hello.
Hello.
So yeah, the improvised theme was anti-hate. This is a poem called He Is Watching. It's kind of like about a higher power. I think it's a reassuring poem, not like a statement, obviously. I know, He Is Watching. In every piece of dirt, I got up from a colleague or a neighbour. In every little slip-up or slight misdemeanour, He is watching. In every old friendship that's spring cleaned and dusted, in every new friendship that's run down and rusted, He is watching. In every broken marriage and dream that's shattered, in every white noise argument that never really mattered, He is watching. In every darkest secret in the cupboards of our heart, in every speck of sand that drives lovers apart, He is watching. Yes. Henry the Hoover is watching. His head is red in embarrassment for the mistakes he knows we'll make, but his face is fixed a smile, for he knows we'll never break. He is watching. And that part's not even the part that is best. He'll even help us clean up our mess. He is watching. In every corner and stairwell, He is there. In every room we enter unaware, He is watching. Silently, blamelessly, never to hate or judge, I might even say it, Henry the Hoover is love. He is watching. In good times and bad, He's always around. In the vacuum of His heart, my soul is refound. Sorry about this. But that was that one. Do you want a piece called Trials of Love or Last Man on Earth? Trials of Love. You're fine. What a beautiful thing it is to have love, said the man quietly in front of the judge. I suppose it's no defence to say that I didn't know. I never studied the law, so what you say goes, but before you sentence me and lock me away, I'd appreciate kindly if you hear things my way. See, I never meant to cause harm or pain or strife. I always intended to have 2 kids with a wife, but some people are different. Some people are strange. I've read the papers, they call me deranged. Is it deranged to follow your heart, to surrender yourself, to go back to the start? I know I'm not perfect, I know I have flaws, but the heart doesn't recognise national laws. So send me away. But please, listen close. I can't help I'm attracted to things that make toast. Time for a quick love poem.
1 minute.
You've got 1 minute 5 seconds.
We'll do a quick love poem. Yeah, we'll find it first. Quick 4. When I was doing that, I suddenly realised that people make toast, so it's actually a love poem, yeah. Penetrate my sphincter with your love. Engorge my anus with your sweet affections. Do it gently under the soft light of summer's dawn, or fierce against the storms of northern winds. Buy me flowers, but please, not roses. The scent is strong, and the thorns will tear delicate membranes. Instead, buy me tulips and let them bloom as you penetrate my sphincter, my love. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Nathan. Okay, so we're coming up to the end of round 3. Basically, we've got 6 poets left on the reserve list, but we're running a little bit. It's amazing to have so many people in tonight, but we are running a little bit behind schedule. So, reserve list poets, is it okay if we give everyone 2.5 minutes at the end of the night? Yes. Because we want to get everyone on, but right now we're running to like 1 o'clock in the morning. So like, if we get everyone on, that's amazing. So our last speaker of round 3 tonight is our last featured poet of the night, our last poet who we asked to come along and speak out against hate, and it is Iris COLOMB. So.
If there has to be silence, I want my silence to be deep, airborne, never bound, careless and coy, slippery and sound. I want it to spill. Slip between the creases of cobblestone paths, meander between weeds, smooth their wrinkles and swear them to secrecy. Shuffle through park gates, slither up bark stems, smooth the leaves, string-like robes, and beg them not to fall. I want it to glow and seep through the window a curly child forgot to close and ruffle his hair and tell him not to waste his seconds in sleep but to lift his tired lids and tell him to do his worst before worse scratches at the back of his skull and forgets to breathe. Skid between the waves of laughter, clawing at the footsteps of a barely limping joke. Stick to the lips of lovers in that precious second of life before they meet. I want my silence to hum through the opera when the last tone strikes and die in the hands of Justin at the height of his baggy 17s, barely starting and already bored, shooting sighs at the cello until he sees it speak the dream he hides in the soles of his fingers, hoping he might find the time to see and sigh different. Skip between the orphan tea towels and worn figurines, scattered in rank, forgotten drawers. Tell them not to mind. Tell them she was too old. Lie. Tell them there's a grand scheme of things like them. Wrap around the columns of justice and teach them to breathe deeper and color them with patience. Swallow the lies we could forget to need. I want my silence to shudder at the sight of every empty speech, to wake the dead from their follies and the living from their dreams. If there has to be silence, I want mine to sing. Give it the luxury of carelessness. Give it the feet of sleep, the soluble strength of rivers too wide to keep. The range of 7 winds, the height of younger minds, the weight of ash. Give it the texture of time, and the strength to expand, and the courage to last. I just really want to thank Pat and Hannah for asking me to do this. I was especially surprised to be asked to talk in a place where the theme is anti-hate. Yeah, thank you. Just a little thing about this poem. Obviously it is my anti-hate poem because I'm much more of a kind of girl than, silence is not my thing. But also, just a little anecdote. As some of you know, unfortunately, I'm French. I promise I didn't do it on purpose. Whereas sometimes I do. Point is, when the Paris attacks happened, I was in this country, And it was a little bit strange for me because it happened like a few blocks away from like where my family lives, blah blah blah, okay, all that stuff. But what was especially strange is that there were a lot of kind of like minutes of silence going on in unis and stuff, and I was over here and I felt kind of weird, and I felt like I didn't really have like the occasion to give some kind of gesture to like signify that I cared about what had happened. And so I went to a spoken word night like a few days after after what happened, and I thought, I don't know, maybe I should use my slot to do a minute of silence, but like, is that weird because I'm just like forcing people into doing this with me, and maybe it's not their thing to bear, and then I realized, actually, why does it have to be a minute? And why does it have to be actual silence? And I remembered that I'd written this poem, and so I felt like it was a much more personal gesture to perform it than to actually do a minute of silence. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much to Iris. We've come up to the end of our third round tonight. We're going to take another quick 10-minute break, but to keep you here for round 4, apart from the amazing speakers that we got coming up to finish off tonight, you may have noticed both Hannah and I have been hosting. We haven't performed anything yet. So what we're going to do at the start of next round is I'm going to perform Hannah's anti-hate poem, and Hannah's going to perform my anti-hate poem. So if you want to join us for that, please stay with us for our last round, which will be in about 5 to 10 minutes. Cheers.
Welcome back to round 4 of the Spoken Word 3rd Anniversary Anti-Hate Celebration. It gives me great pleasure, I'm going to take my hat off. To introduce myself, I'm Hannah Gordon. And I am going to be performing an epic masterpiece by the wonderful Pat Cash. And this is his anti-hate poem. I hope I do it justice, it's a fabulous poem. I've been thinking a lot lately about hating. What eats at the heart of hate? See, I hate people every day. I hate tourists on Oxford Street, I hate children on the tube, I hate slow walkers stopping me getting to my train. I want to get up in their faces and say with all that rages, get out of my fucking way! But I don't. Because I know that my hatred is just a ghost. It's a quick flick switch. It's a brief flip. Wait, I told you I was going to put that. It's a quick flick switch. It's a brief lit wick. A fake shade of hate. A frustration of place. Don't get me wrong, I am no saint. I dislike a fair few people, but that's not the same as hating. That's not the same as wanting to shoot at their faces. Haters are always going to hate, they say. And in some places, if you ain't got hatred, you ain't got status. So let's play with the face of hate. Hate me for a moment. Hate everything I am. Hate me because I'm different to you. Hate my words and my sisters too. Hate me for my body, that ends at my fingertips. Hate me for my skin, my pigmentation. Hate me for the sensations I share with a lover in bed. Hate me for my private moments. Hate all the tears I've shed and the hopes I've shared. Hate my thoughts, my fears and my dreams. Hate me for the woman I might yet be. And then take your hate away and make it something great. Nurture your hatred. Feed it and mould it like clay. Sculpt it like glass being blown until it fits the shape of your soul, because hate will heat you in the cold. Hate will be there for you when you're alone. At this point, I would speak of the crimes of hate, of a woman in Iran stoned because she was raped, of screaming ugly at a woman in a magazine, of misshapen faces and mistaken shame. Yes, this poem is about hate crime, but it's also about why. It's about Cameroon, Uganda and Russia. It's about a neighbour hating another. It's about LGBT, it's about immigrants. It's about Orlando. It's about the EDL and UKIP and the Printemps Français. It's about too many black boys being shot on the streets of the USA. It's looking at a human race that sometimes seems so consumed and wasted with hatred. It's standing up to that and saying, I am not afraid. Thank you very much. That was by the wonderful Pat Cash. I think I got the better end of this deal because his poem's really short and lovely and mine is a mouthful. Actually, I should take a moment to just, can we all give Pat Cash a round of applause? I get to spoken word London, which we've been going for a little while, and it honestly fundamentally has changed my life and enriched it in so many ways, and that is all down to Pat Cash fundamentally.
Yes, Pat!
It is my great pleasure to introduce the wonderful man himself. It is Pat Cash.
Okay, so I'm going to do Hannah's poem, and yeah, really. Yep. So yeah, quite nervous because if you're doing your own poem, obviously you can do it as you do it, I guess. Yeah, and like when you've got someone else entrusted with someone else's words, it makes it a lot bigger. But let's see how this goes. And thank you to Hannah for letting me read it. In Irish, when we say thank you, Amor Agor, wishing you all the benefits that good fortune, well earned, can bring. I wish you the courage to stand up and stand alone, to speak for those voices muted in ignorance or fear of violence, because bad things happen when good people do nothing. And exploitation is condoned in communal silence. I wish you at least a taste of your comeuppance, because sometimes the hard way is the only way to really learn. Hard-won lessons are those that sink most deeply in, enabling foundations for the future to be firm. I wish you a good male role model. In this world of squandered masculinity, better friends, a fresh start, a sincere conception of your place on the scale of infinity, warm hands and a warm heart. I wish you determination, teamed with both resolve and ability to nurture and mature. With a sense of your own vulnerability, may you constantly reflect and reevaluate your hate into a more gracious condition. Be content, not complacent, as you strive to strike a balance between ideals and ambition. I wish you success, not necessarily in the way that you want, but in the way that you progress, without an ego to flaunt, enough success to inspire you to work for your aspirations, and the hope to plough on through famished devastation. Turning hope into hard work, and hard work into achievements, armed with love and empathy, to live through inevitable bereavement. Solace to know that in time all wounds will heal. Do not create divisions between what you do and how you really feel. I wish you to not victimize yourself or relish in past pain. Allow yourself to feel guilt for your wrongs, but do not bathe in self-hating shame. Remember that it's not the strongest of the species that survives, but the one most receptive to change. Be sure to know yourself. Persevere and abide good health, and knowing your worth, harness your talents. Find a place where they are needed upon this earth. Understand your history. Know where you've come from and be grounded in your own identity. Unlike someone at the bottom of a well-researched family tree, I do not wish you to be crushed by the weight of hereditary memory, but stand at the apex. Be that bright branch branching out, able to stay hopeful in the absence of all you must go on without. But above all things, I wish you the attentiveness to be kind, to choose your words, mean what you say, and use the potential of your mind. Have the strength of character to allow yourself to be cautious, courteous and tasteful. An appreciation that always leaves you feeling generous, the wisdom not to be wasteful. Lastly, I wish you the foresight to interpret the world beyond the way that best serves you, and the good humour to diffuse anger with laughter. I wish you 947 bouts of laughter. That you laugh at yourself, with yourself, at the things you failed to say, but only thought of after. In my family, when we say thank you, instead, in gratitude, we wish you 1,000 good things. We say Goro mil amor God, wishing you all the benefits that good fortune, well earned, can bring.
Such a privilege to watch my favourite poet read my poem.
Anna, he did that good, man. He did that.
He did that real good, yeah.
He did.
Okay, next up on round 4 we have a lovely regular at Spoken Word London. It is Ernesto. We're going to make
It is funny the way hate or self-hate can manifest itself. Very quickly, this is a very short story set in a gay sauna based on a true incident, abridged for tonight. The techno remix of Stevie Wonder's I Just Called to Say I Love You, blaring out of the cheap tinny speaker above my locker, was not a good omen for a night at the sauna. As it turned out, the locker room was empty. The showers were empty, the steam room was empty, and the jacuzzi was empty too. I made my way to the dry sauna, which was also, as expected, empty. 2-tiered wooden benches on the right, mirror 2-layer benches on the left. I sat on the right lower bench, I closed my eyes, lost in my thoughts, until someone finally appeared. He was a smooth, slim man who sat opposite me. A second punter joined in soon after that, a grey-haired man who took the left upper bench above the first punter. He was followed by an athletic, hairy man in his 20s, Mediterranean-looking. The boy removed his towel, spread it on the bench above mine, and sat on it with his legs wide open. Despite my best efforts, however, I could not get a good view of the boy's genitalia. His knee was in the way, and his arm cast a shadow. It was getting sweaty and busy. A bearded man in his 30s, stocky and furry enough to be classed as a bear, walked in and sat right next to the younger hairy man. Opposite the bear, on the lower bench, appeared a middle-aged punter with receding hair and a small blonde moustache, which was too thin and austere to be considered a hipster's moustache. The moustached man's gaze was focused on the hairy boy's crotch. This boy was popular. A smooth blonde jock took a seat on the lower bench just below him, and soon his hand was going up the boy's leg, slowly stroking his calf, his knee, his thigh, his thick pubic hair. Then his hand disappeared between the boy's legs, starting a rhythmic up and down movement. The glance of the hairy boy's penis appeared and disappeared between his thighs as he was being masturbated by the blonde boy. Most punters minded their own business, but the moustached man's stare was fixated on the boys opposite him. The hairy boy's breathing pattern changed, getting faster and faster, his hands tightly clutching the edge of the bench. His upper body leaned forward and backward with jerky convulsions. As his panting got faster and louder, the moustached man shouted, "Are you going to come?" Everyone sat still. The blonde boy pulled his hand away from the hairy boy's body. "Show some respect," the moustached man continued. The boys kept quiet, but the bear bawled out, "What?" The man with the moustache was relentless. "Aren't you ashamed?" Timidly, the grey-haired punter muttered, "This is a gay sauna." The reply was, "But you don't have to do it in front of everyone. That's what cubicles are for." He kept addressing the younger man. Show some decorum. How can you possibly do this in front of everybody? The dark-haired boy mumbled something with a distinct French accent. Mr. Moustache was outraged. You're not even English! The bear raised his eyebrows. He looked lost for words. Eventually he asked, are you gay? The reply, yes, but that doesn't mean I'm shameless, for fuck's sake. I have self-respect and respect for others. The bear stood up. I give up, he said. Unbelievable. And left. Everyone disappeared one by one. I was left on my own again. I heard some shouting in the distance. When I got out, a couple of minutes later, the moustached man was nowhere to be seen on the premises. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Ernesto. Okay, next up on round 4, we have a wonderful poet. He's actually starting his own night here at Fabric this month, actually. I'm sure he'll tell you all about it. It is Anise. Can you give a big round of applause, please?
I read the news today, oh boy. 3 blasts, 30 dead, hundreds injured, much was said. One suspect who may have fled, slap a bounty in his head. There's calls to arms and calls for meds, calls for calm and calls for heads, calls to close the borders now, calls that we'll take back our towns, calls to rage and scream and shout, calls to open hearts, not mouths. These calls will stir the dust, but I know that when it settles, the fallout stretches far beyond the shards of glass and metal. Because now there is no doubt, we are at war with them, but exactly what's meant by we, them and war is anyone's guess. Besides, who the fuck am I? Who the fuck am I to speak of solidarity when I look like them, share roots with them, I read the same damn book as them? These words can, and maybe even will, be picked apart for hypocrisy by those on either side of the spectrum because my upbringing made me who I am, not who it wanted me to be. But we'll save that for another poem because this is not about me. Nor is this about mass media vultures, patrolling the airwaves in 24-hour cycles to steal a scoop of what's left of still warm bodies, regurgitating cherry-picked headline quotes, opinion pieces on opinion pieces, and the odd morsel of actual news carefully garnished to sit neatly with today's choice of bigger picture. This is not about right-wing reactionaries intent on dragging us kicking and screaming back to the good old days that probably never existed amid calls to build a bigger wall, bring in the drawbridge and drown that inferno in gasoline. Nor is this about left-wing crusaders who turn a blind eye to atrocities in the name of tolerance and would scale the moral high ground to watch the world burn. This is not about the vast majority of Muslims who, though far from perfect, are in fact ordinary peace-loving human beings. Nor is it about the sizable minority who cannot now be ignored, who cannot now be written off as misguided lunatics with no basis in religion, because now they have the numbers, the means, the ways and the voice, as well as the will and the scripture to back them up. This is not about the historical, political, economic, sociological, environmental, cultural, or completely random factors that may or may not have led to the situation, because no amount of finger pointing will change the fact that we are in this situation. But this is not about that. This is about the victims whose names we're not really sure we've ever actually heard. Whose faces we'll soon forget, because they look so damn ordinary, they blend right in with the hundreds we've already seen today. Children playing in the street. Unarmed teenagers, pregnant mothers and hard-working fathers, every single one of whom left home that day knowing they would never come back. Every single one of whom thought it would never happen to me. Civilians, people trying to make it day by day. In Brussels, Paris, Nice, Ankara, Istanbul, Darfur, Jakarta, Cairo, Darfur, San Bernardino, and that's just this year. And I don't have any answers. I don't have an explanation, I don't have a solution. I don't know the implications of the path that we're choosing. I can't offer inspiration or a path to resolution. All I have are observations, reservations and confusion. This is not about terrorism, this is about terror, and that's what we're all up against. Thank you. Cool, so that was a poem. This one isn't really about kindness. So one thing when we talk about hate, one thing that always gets brought up, at least gets brought up by me, is what can we do to reduce the amount of hate in the world? Or more accurately, what is the thing we can do with the least amount of effort to reduce the amount of hate in the world? And so I'm just going to do a little thought experiment, a little bit of audience participation. Since we're being filmed, I should probably be honest that I didn't actually come up with this. This is a wonderful poet called Catherine Smith in Glasgow. It's heavily paraphrased though, so Catherine, if you're watching this, apologies, I'm probably doing a terrible job. So I just want everyone to close their eyes. And I want you to think about someone you've lost, whether it's someone that's passed away or someone you just don't spoke to anymore. Think about the last time you saw them. I want you to think about if they were here today, what would you say to them? How would you treat them? Now I just want you to do one thing. Next time you meet someone today, just one little thing. Next time you meet someone today, I want you to treat them the same way you're thinking right now. And maybe with that, we can reduce the amount of hate in the world. You can open your eyes now. If I've got time to do one more quick little bit brief plug. As Hannah mentioned, I'm hosting a night here in a couple of weeks' time. It's on the 16th of August. It's called Extra Second London. It'll be on every month, so every month we'll have a theme for the night. And we'll have a few featured poets and some open micers that will read some poems based on that theme, and that'll be followed by a sort of roundtable audience discussion so everyone can have their say. The theme for the first month is the future of British politics, so I know some people have got some opinions on that, so if you're interested in that, check us out on Facebook, come speak to me afterwards, 16th of August right here. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Anise. Okay, next up on round 4 we have the wonderful regular at Spoken Word London is Virginia. Can you give her a round of applause?
Hello.
Hello.
So I know tonight's theme is anti-hate, but I can't help apart from just write love poems all the time. Which is similar.
That's anti-hate.
Yeah, it's anti-hate, but what I was actually thinking is that even though my love poems tend to be about loving someone else, they're often not about loving myself. And I would like to challenge that one day, but here's my first poem. It's set a few summers ago, which I call my YOLO summer. Waiting in line for a line of cocaine and the urge for the end of the line on this train. To repeat and repeat until all lines are learned, with the fear of 2 lines on this pregnancy test, Dolores from the dotted line again. Underlined by the ketamine skyline, I fall, hook and line, for the lines on your face, with the Rolling Stones in the lineup. But I am the last in line, with the lines that you draw, drawing my size out longer. And the stars don't align, and I lie here supine, convinced that my waistline is the line that divides us, the continuous wine on light paper, for which I can only apologize. If I were in school, I would write it out 100 times. When I began to write this, I was young and 21. But now I'm not, I'm 24, and now I stand behind the yellow line of the lonely London sky, knowing then, as I know now, that between you and I, someone had to draw the line. My next poem is kind of about self-love, but mostly about how hard it is to have an orgasm sometimes. Oh my God, my mouth full of unfinished vowels, just hollow sounds. I am almost a circle drawn in the sand, gently erased by your hand. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Virginia. Okay, next up on round 4 we have David. Can we give him a big round of applause, please?
The first poem is about American gun laws, which I've never heard anybody I've ever met support, and it's called The Grave American Song. Your song's not my song, your song's a grave song, and it's gone on for too long, and it's wrong, wrong, plain wrong. And this time it's a blues song from a gay bar in Florida. 49 killed, almost 50 swan songs. And the sleigh bells toll on, Since the death of John Lennon, over 1 million killer hit songs. Farewell to the innocent, the brave and the free, the few that we knew, the old and the young. Your song's not my song. It's a love song to a gun, but it's also a hate song when the love song goes wrong. Guns only belong in a campfire song when a country is young and its virtues unsung. But now it's the wrong song. Guns don't belong. You can't love a gun like you care for someone. Your song's not my song. Your song's a sad song. It's a bad song and a mad song and it keeps going wrong. You just can't love a gun like you care for someone. So rip up the song and bury the gun. The next poem is a bit off theme. It's about names, and you know, there's a lovely Welsh name, Bryn, and I'm sure that even now there are children being named and christened Brexit. So it's called the meaning of names. Pearls are wise, rubies precious, Claire is a French lit moon. Noel and Carol remind us of Christmas, as do holly and ivy, Angel, Gabriel and Rudolph. Mercedes and Porsche suggest motor cars. Teddy reminds us of bears, and Roxy of cinemas. Some names are actions. Carrie. Phil. Bob. Buzz. Some names are objects. Matt. Mike. Jem. Jade. Jan. Lucy. I mean Lucy's. Outdoor types. Daisy. Heather. Hyacinth. Lily, Poppy, Rowan, Rose, Rosemary, Saffron, Sharon, Violet, Robin and Jay. In the garden, dug with Pete. Please don't clap on my time. Along the beach, sandy piers and cliff. Now, I'm going to be frank and earnest. When it's summer or sunny, I'm with Joy. But when it's cloudier, I'm nearer my Nadia. Now, I'm going to be a blue, scarlet, rude here. 5 names you should never leave together. Roger, Nicholas, Fanny, Ophelia, Dick. 2 names that set you up for jail, Nick and Rob. 3 names that set you up to fail, leader, ruler, Victor. What's the commonest name? Well, if we only ate less and breathed in, we could all be leaner. But Eric, spelled E-R-I-C, and Kerry, C-E-R-I, are cousins once removed. But the best name is your own name backwards. I'm Divad, Prue is Urb, and Alison is Nasilla. Abraham, what are you backwards?
Mehabba.
Very good. We worked on that. Okay, right. Okay, to some it makes no difference. Hannah, Anna, Pip. But it could change your destiny. Oren becomes Nero. And Aaron becomes Nora.
Thank you very, very much to David. Okay, our last video round before we get to the reserve list on is a wonderful poet. A guy who I met, actually, the first spoken word thing I ever went to was in East London, this Words on Edge festival 3 years ago. Who, through the power of Facebook, we've got into contact again. I'm so glad that he's here tonight. It is Tom McCall. Can we give him a big round of applause, please?
Hi everyone. There's a lot of hatred shown towards refugees at the moment, so this is my poem in support of them. And it's told through the eyes of a refugee, literally. It's called Carry My Eyes. The best I can do by daylight, while hiding out beyond the camp in the undergrowth, is fall asleep and let eyelids turned into wings carry my eyes, which in my dreams are always the colour of sky-high blue, above and across the barbed wire border. I'm awoken with a start when my eyes return and burn into me the realisation that even if I don't drown in the peat bogs or get taken down by the prowling guards with their vicious dogs, getting across is no guarantee of success. Europe, which projects a Gorgon-frenzied lust for freedom that turns to stone as soon as it knows it's captured you in its flatline eyebrow trance, is a never-ending fortress. Whoever said the modern world was round has never seen its medieval edge right here at the borderline. No Twitter post can compete with a border post. Millions of messages lie out of sight, obscured by one unwelcoming sign. I hear there are many now discussing our terrible plight, saying welcome the refugee, but my tears-tortured eyes are tired of earning nothing more than sympathy. I go back to the crowded, squalid camp, and there, exhausted in my tent, once again fall asleep. This time, as they fly across the border, my dreaming of a new life, bloodshot eyes spy the approach of reporters in roving bands. We're here to tell you your story, they always say. How you fled civil war and just want to be given a chance. But I know that they don't care. That they'll only turn my truth into some kind of lie. And I won't talk to them, nor even extend my palm, which would reveal my cut and callous lifeline. Just tell them with a steely stare, don't hug me with your inverted commas, nor touch me with your cruel chameleon hands. Thank you. There's a lot of hatred shown towards homeless people as well, and this is a poem in support of them. It's a poem called Chalk Fairy, and it mentions both Christmas and homelessness, and although Christmas is over, homelessness isn't, so I'm going to read it now. The Chalk Fairy. Each night I traipse the streets of London, drawing chalk lines round homeless people sleeping rough. I found that even in the early hours of Christmas Day, there's no shortage of bodies to draw my outlines round. London's one big crime scene every single day of the year. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Tom. Now we're on to our reserve list. So we're going to get 2.5 minutes each just to finish off the night. So please welcome our first poet on the reserve list, Don. Don, you still here?
Don gone, man.
Don's gone. Okay. Charlie, are you still here? Charlie's still here?
I'm going to do like the anti-hate, which is love, but it's 3.5 minutes, so you don't get love, you have terror. Right. I'm at war with a terrorist that doesn't have a name, that doesn't have a face or a country from where they came. And my soldiers transported out to war without leaving their office chair so they can rain down death and fire from a spectre in the air. See, not one law, no court order protects whoever's innocent. These wives, children, fathers, mothers struck into oblivion. And from the doorstep of our home we export billions in weapons. I mean, they're banned where we make them, but they're fine for oppressive nations. And when the bullet rips through the flesh of a brother, lover, child or grand, we'll feel the pride of British made, and the shareholders will stay on plan. And what blows my mind is we invest in it, we don't even think to question it. It's bundled with our high street banks, our tax relief and pensions. The double standards of the rabbles, we blast these dictators in Parliament crying of human rights abuses as we silently sell them arms. And we need to stop and ask, how is your terrorist created? What makes a good person stray onto a path consumed with hatred? Maybe their war with the faceless, their fate invaded as they brace against the raining death and fire drop our soldiers in distant places. From our death machine that bleeds out billions from a democratic system, we can't afford to fund the NHS, but we can pay to bomb in the name of freedom. And what more motivation would you need to rise up against your oppressor and seeing your family lying in pieces because of some anecdotal metadata? See, they're innocent, they are people, and they are just like you. They eat, they work, they fall in love, and they will also dance if you give them the right tune, but their lives are worth less because their birthplace is in West, and the words written by their God tells them how to dress. Because every bomb we drop's a seed that grows like thorny vines around our wrists. Some say we kill to destroy the evil, but maybe it's I who's the terrorist.
Actually also runs an amazing night in Harlesden called Word Up, which he wouldn't say. Okay, our next reserve person is Susie.
Hello everyone, how are you all doing? This is my first time to Spoken Word London, so thank you so much for having me here. And I'm going to do a little poem on bias, feeding in with anti-hate. When my mother's family came from Myanmar to the UK in the 1960s, they were faced with very overt racial discrimination, and nowadays it doesn't feel like that long ago. So with that in mind, I'm going to do a little poem, and it is called Turn It. I'm going to try and remember it, so fingers crossed. There's no level select in this game to rewind, no pause menu. So detect in real time, like the lens of truth, scoped out, refined, reveal illusions of collisions, needing mind's coercion. That we're stuck in this capitalist version, revealing passcodes of an old world's missions, filling gaps when there were missions. So cast out reservations like collector's items. So cast out reservations like collector's items, select to disconnect nostalgia's hateful pastimes, hotwire the fear that steered the world's economy, find a way to question this old society and be present like the parent at the future's birthing, preset in the circuit, autonomous working, anonymous behind the scenes, always stirring until we find a key and try to turn it because we've earned it. So swing between the screen or the sheen of the corporeal. Reality was never all tangible, made to feel the appeal of a reality sewn onto this world, swirled in our heads, seeds no longer sown, because this reality, RPG, exists more than these unruly power rifts, promise of materials, morals drift, lust for these same pictures, same paper, same fires, same vapors, justifying the sense of enormity by saying that this is the sole reality. But our reality exists in multiplicity, in the sheer numbers of paper, visibility, sharing stories, different worlds creatively, voices told world over inclusivity, making shared hopes, goals, dreams and pictures, no need to speed run, just enjoy the glitches. So when we know that we're more porous than ever before, each cell is a USB port to store whatever's next on their core agenda. It won't be long enough for us to not remember. So, be present like the parent at the future's birthing, preset in the circuit, autonomous working, anonymous behind the scenes, always stirring until we find the key and come to turn it because we've earned it.
Thank you so much, Susie. Next up on our reserve list, please welcome a newcomer to Spoken Word London. It is Barney. Please go up for Barney.
Thank you very much. I love how far hate has been away from this basement. It's really refreshing. So Alex started off with a poem that can come out of self-hate. I definitely wrote this at a time when I was hating myself. And it's all about how you channel anger. And I think we've seen a lot of positive ways of channeling it tonight. So it's called Suspicious Faces. The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. Today's society's litmus test is the way it treats its most vulnerable. The elderly, people with disabilities, but rarely do we extend Gandhi's phrase to asylum seekers or refugees. Could it read, the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way it treats those who seek asylum? Well, I'm tired of the suspicious faces, peering out of high windows, inspecting every inch of pavement I pour. Trust me, that gaze weighs heavy after days of scraps and scrapes, closed door after closed door. You're nothing but vermin to my eyes, a scavenger, a trespasser, orange fur soaked in vulture's pride. You leave a trail of havoc in your wake, unnatural, unwelcomed, go back from whence you came. It's as if he can't see beyond his own thick pains. Dismayed, the fox bows his neck, tilts it back up to the sky. I trudge from bin to bin in search of a better life. Guided by the moon's white, open heart, I seek only this, nothing else. If only your suspicious faces shared the moon's soft, accepting light. If only the them and us became we. You might see us all in no man's land out on that street together. You might see us all rustling through remnants of hopes and discarded dreams. You might taste our tattered desires, smell our scented fears, and you might see that we're all unnatural, all unwelcomed in some way. Bound by tears, worn out by years, navigating the tide of excess and abandon. On Sundays, some knock bin bags and descend to familiar streets, while others journey in their masses to foreign shores in the hope of finding more fitting rewards for their litter. The man turns the lock, rubbish in hand, and in the black his eyes drawn to the fox's glint. Their eyes fit effortlessly in that moment, an unexpected encounter from heaven sent. He understands now that circles of life stretch beyond distant savannah skies unto scenes of urban scrawl. One man's trash, another man's treasure. If the moon entrusts shelter to one and all universally, why shouldn't we? How quickly mistrust can be undone and free our raw humanity.
Sorry about that. Thank you very much sorry, your name just disappeared out of my head for a sec. Barney. Thank you, Barney. Sorry, Pat wrote that really badly. Sorry, Pat. Okay, next on the reserve list we have David. Is David still here?
Gone.
We don't have David. Okay, we've got Andrew T. He's not still here. Gone. Okay, we've got our last speaker of the night. It is Liba. Liba? Yeah.
I've got a poem called Untimely Meditations. It's based on Saul Williams. And it's good. Self is illusion, music is divine. We are the echoes of eternity. Om. End the cycle of life and death with moksha. Secrets unlocked by constructing time. As a money-making machine, ensnared in desire, indomitable trust in the power of love that transcends hierarchies controlled by guns, a sweet potato dressing over white wine vinegar, a Sainsbury's wrapper tossed with a red dustpan, with no regret or feeling to the guilt that fumbles numb fingers to eat some more. Consumption's a whore ready to be stroked in a lust semen carpet, pain fucked shame. Oblivion of death gives life a new nirvana, and love sets you free if you follow your dharma.
Happy birthday!
Thank you! Thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you to everyone who came to speak and everyone who came to listen, and we're going to go fortnightly from now on.
Yeah, so for the last 6 months we've been going weekly, which has been great. but we just feel like it'll be better for the night if we go back to fortnightly. So we're going to be on the 1st and 3rd Wednesday of every month. So the next one's going to be on the 17th of August, and it will continue on like that for the foreseeable future. It's just been really difficult to get like a photographer in and get things organised. So.
Please send over all your stuff to Spoken Word London Facebook page, and if you haven't liked it already, it's facebook.com/Spoken Word London, and we'll share anything that you have over there and continue that online community. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well done.
Thank you for taking all this rest.
Such a good night.
I like your time as well. It's good to get
Oh yeah, thanks. I tried.
I wanted to.
I already loved your progress to it before you went away.
Yeah. I think I did it the last time.